I'm a longtime follower of life coach Jody Moore, and I highly recommend her book and her podcast, both which are called Better Than Happy. And it was from Jody Moore that I learned the CTFAR model, which was developed by Brooke Castillo, who also has books and podcasts that you can check out. The thing about the CTFAR model is it's a game changer once you really understand it and try to implement it and realize that your emotions and the way you feel is not connected to your circumstances, and that it gives you more control, and you get your power back of how you want to feel and how you want to act and what kind of results you want in your life. And just from this little model, but once you understand it and really practice it, because it does take practice, every day, you'll start to feel better and you won't be a victim. Like I said, it will empower you. So let's talk about what each of those letters mean and how you can apply it a little bit. I'll talk about it a little bit today. I'm just going to scratch the surface. So the C is for circumstance, and the circumstance is a fact. There's no emotion attached to it until you think something about it. So, for instance, it is raining is a circumstance. How you feel about the rain depends on what you think about the rain. I'll get into that in a minute. But it is hot is not a circumstance. That is a thought. Because for some people, the circumstance would be it is 100 degrees. And some people might think, wow, that's hot. And some people might not think that's so hot. So saying it is hot is not a fact. It is not a circumstance. So that's C. So let's move on to T, which, as you guessed it, is thought. So let's go back to that circumstance. It is 100 degrees. And I think, wow, it's hot. So then how does that make me feel? Well, that's the F in the model. Our feelings so our thoughts generate our feelings. Our thoughts are based on whatever we think about the circumstance. So it's 100 degrees. I think it's hot. Well, I don't like being hot. So how am I going to feel? I'm going to feel discomfort. I'm going to feel annoyance. I'm going to feel something like that about it being hot. Where somebody might like being hot and they'll think, oh, this feels so good, and they will feel happy. So different thoughts and different people create different feelings. Then the next letter is A, and that's action. So our feelings are going to create our actions in our lives. So if I'm feeling annoyed that it is hot, what am I going to do? Well, I'm probably going to complain about it to anybody who will listen about, oh, I'm so miserable and it's so hot and it's so uncomfortable. And then from there, the last letter is R, and that's results. So what are my results from complaining about how miserable I am? Well, I'm probably going to be miserable, and I'm still going to be hot, but I'm also going to be, and I'm still going to be annoyed, but now I'm also miserable because all I've done is complain about how miserable I am, and I've just generated more misery. So that's how the model works. But the whole idea is the circumstances in your life are not what are making you miserable. The 100 degrees was not what made me miserable. What made me miserable was my thought that it's hot and I don't like being hot. So my feeling was annoyance, my action was complaining, and my result is I was miserable. What if it was 100 degrees and I thought, maybe I still thought, it's hot, but I can deal with it. So I tweaked my thought a little bit. So then my feeling is maybe curiosity, like what could I do to make myself not feel so hot? And then my action would be I would start looking for solutions. And then my result would be, especially if I found a good solution, would be, I'm not so hot. I'm not so miserable, and I am dealing with it just like I thought I could. So that's just like I said, just scratching the surface, but hopefully that gives you an idea of how we often blame circumstances or other people for the way that we feel, but it's really our thoughts that are creating our feelings. And if you can wrap your head around that and start making that a part of your life, you're going to feel so much better and so much more empowered, because you can't always change circumstances. You definitely can't change other people, but you can work on your thoughts. And we'll do a little bit more of that in some of these videos. So let me know if you have any questions. Like I said, check out Brooke Castillo or Jody Moore if you want to get an even deeper dive into this. Thanks.